Sometimes it takes one little idea to spark a big conversation. Welcome to Likkle Byte Ideas. Every week we bring you exciting guests for fresh conversations, practical insights, and real ideas to help you grow your finances, your business, and yourself. Because sometimes the biggest breakthroughs start with something little. So bring your questions, bring your ideas, and let's get ready to bite big. Likkle Byte Ideas, where little ideas are transformed into big dreams. Welcome, everyone. We're back. Welcome back to Likkle Byte Ideas. We are delighted to welcome you back after 1 year away from the stage. So we're happy that you've been able to join us. Let me introduce myself or reintroduce myself. My name is Derede Whitlock, and we are back with a new show or a revamped show. Fresh conversations, fresh ideas, and of course, those unexpected eureka moments that happen when great ideas come together. Today, we have a guest, and before we get into introducing our guests and getting back into the swing of things, let me get my co-host in here, Megan Samuel Fields. Or
Well,
should I say
hello.
it's Dr. Megan Samuel Fields. That was one of the reasons why we were off air. Megan was completing her doctoral studies, and we want to congratulate her as a family and a community. Welcome, Megan. Tell us about
Oh, thank you so much.
your
It's so
time
great to
off.
be back. Oh my goodness. So my time off was a lot of work. I had to put a lot of work in, lots of focus on getting my dissertation completed. It was a tough journey, but just so rewarding. Lots of learning, lots of insights, um, growth within me, and ideas on growth for Samuel Fields Consulting Group and for Likkle Bytes. So it was refreshing. Sometimes we have to take a step back and assess and come back bigger and stronger. And I think that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm really excited to be back.
Yes, and tell us what your studies were in and how you think that will really
Yeah.
help the show.
Okay, so I completed my doctoral studies in creative leadership for innovation and change. And my dissertation was on the level of financial literacy among small businesses in Antigua and Barbuda and how that relates to their ability to access financing. And there were so many key insights that I got that I could apply and I will apply to SFCG in the way we do things, the way we interact with our small businesses, just creative ideas on how we can increase the level of financial literacy and not only just increase the level of financial literacy. This is one of the things that my research brought out. Just financial literacy is not enough. The knowledge alone is not enough. There needs to be an awareness, self-awareness. There needs to be action where you recognize where the gaps are, and there needs to be commitment in order to actually put your plans in place. So it was a lovely year of learning and thinking and ideating and creating. So very, very exciting times ahead for us.
Fantastic. We look forward to it. Now, today's topic will be achieving financial peace through forgiveness. And we have a guest that we are so excited to introduce. Her name is Alicia Alexander. Alicia, welcome to, for the first time, the Likkle Byte Ideas virtual stage. We're delighted to have you.
Well,
Thank you.
hello, Alicia.
Hello. Thank you. It's exciting being here.
Fantastic. And so, Megan, I'll get you, would you do us the honors of introducing Alicia? She has a great bio.
Absolutely. So, first off, Alicia is Antiguan. So, I just need to put that out there. Alicia Alexander is a legacy architect, forgiveness coach, and financial strategist who helps individuals and families heal relationships, navigate crucial estate conversations, and build resilient futures. I love that. Inspired by the pioneering leadership of her mother, Commissioner Delano Christopher, Alicia offers an integrated approach to wealth and well being, forgiveness coaching to release the burdens of today, and financial planning to help ensure families are prepared for tomorrow. Isn't that nice?
For sure.
So, through intentional dialogue and strategic planning, Alicia empowers families to pass down a clean slate, a clear plan, and a lasting foundation of love and security. Welcome, welcome, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a mouthful right there. So I'm just going to sum it up and say I'm a purpose driven entrepreneur
Love
who
it.
just loves
That's
the community.
Love it. Purpose
fantastic.
driven entrepreneur. Lovely,
Definitely
lovely,
something to
lovely.
remember. Now,
Yeah.
Alicia, when I first heard the concept about financial peace, I really had to think more deeply about what that means. For the benefit of our audience, it sounds like something we should all aspire to. Tell us, in your words, what is financial peace?
When you think about financial peace, and to me, and I imagine it should mean that to a lot of people, but they really don't understand. When you think about financial peace, it's not about having a lot of money, but I think it's rather about is the absence of that financial anxiety.
Mm.
And it's not because everything is perfect, but because there's some sort of clarity or structure that's in place. There's a plan in place. And it gets to a point where money is not a source of fear, but rather it's a tool. It's a purpose driven tool. And
I love that.
we think about wealth, and we think about money and think of it in the concept of wealthy. And it's not about wealth, it's not about comfort. It's about that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about
Mm-hmm.
financial peace, you're thinking about that confidence, being able to sleep at night because you have a plan in place.
So true. Because there are lots of people who have a lot of money, but they don't sleep
Yes.
well at night
Mm-hmm.
because
Absolutely.
they don't have that financial peace. Wow.
So,
Yes.
and that was my next question. Is it possible for someone to actually be financially comfortable but still not have financial peace?
Absolutely. Sometimes you have people who make six figures, $200,000 a year, but they spend 210,000. And then you have those who make $60,000 a year and they're comfortable because there's a plan in place.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about being able to have that, if you're able to have financial comfort and still have that financial peace, it is possible because a lot of people learn how to live, live well, but they still stay awake at night. Because
Mm-hmm.
what finance is, it's your current lifestyle. That's what finance is about, your current lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It's about long-term stability and that emotional security. And you can have a beautiful home and, like I just mentioned earlier, make that money, but still don't have that peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about
So,
knowing how to navigate and being able to make it, but still be comfortable.
Yep, and we
so
often
it,
talk
it
about keeping things in balance. We talk about financial wellness, which is
mhm.
exactly that, ensuring that everything is in alignment. All
Yes.
aspects of your being, are aligned and in balance. It's just like a wheel, and Megan talks about this all the time. This is why people need to get wheel alignment, because
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
the wheel is not in alignment, you're going to have problems down the road.
A bumpy ride.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
financial peace is not determined by your income.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
actually
Yeah.
determined by your relationship with that money.
Yeah. That is a
Not
good
just
one.
about your income at all, because we make a lot, but we know how to make that money, but we don't know how to make that money work for us.
Yep. Cut and
Mm.
contrive.
Right. And it becomes financially fragile. We become that fragile.
Yep.
Yep. So very true.
Now, I want to talk about your mom, I want to go back to your roots a bit.
I
I
know
had
you
the
will go.
pleasure of spending maybe 4 hours with your mom years ago, and she was a delightful woman. Did not a very tall woman who could be intimidating to some, but a
For
very
those who
gentle
joined
soul.
late, let's say who was her mother? Who are
Well,
you
her mother
referring
was
to
our first
or is?
female police commissioner. God bless her soul. She passed away about 2 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, Delano Christopher, our very first female police commissioner and only police commissioner in Antigua, was her mom. So, tell us about growing up in a home like that. You know, the learning about forgiveness, your mom being on the front lines of law enforcement in Antigua and Barbuda. How did that shape, I should say, your approach to community building?
My mother, every time I think about her, I get overwhelmed still. It's funny how, because of the things that were instilled in you, that sometimes the individual is not here with us anymore physically, but I can still hear her voice. I do things and I'm a little cautious because is she watching? You know? Is she watching? I said something to somebody the other day. I said, I could do whatever I want because nobody there for you to report me to. I said I'm an orphan now.
Yeah, told me that
So you
often.
can't report me to anybody. But my mother was she modeled something very rare. And she showed strength without hardness. I think about her like that. She showed a lot of strength. Her outward appearance, like you said, make you step back. I step back even as her daughter. But she had a side of her that was so compassionate, that was filled with so much humility. And it's because she took part in so many different organizations. She was on the church choir, she was in the police choir, the police drama group, that I wanted to be a police just to be around her all the time.
Aww.
That's so sweet.
I would sit at nights and watch her do her work, whatever she had to finish up. And sometimes I wish I was the pen or the book she was writing in. So she could pour everything because she was so passionate about what she did that I wanted her to write across my life story. And I didn't realize that that's what she was doing indirectly. And so what she did for me was she brought forgiveness into law enforcement. A lot of people might not have seen it because of the line of work that she was in, but she was in a field that often reward toughness with tenderness. I don't know if you know. And watching her taught me that communities heal when they feel seen.
Hmm.
And so, because of she did pour into me verbally, but it was more of action. And she taught me that leadership wasn't about authority, it was more about restoring that dignity.
Hmm.
And so I learned a lot from her, and that shaped me into who I am today. It's about community, it's about building, it's about creating that legacy. And one of the things that she mentioned too was what she taught me to is how do we fix that narrative? There's so much that's going on out there. There's so much that you're seeing, but how do we fix that? And despite the toughness and what's not, and her being a part of all these different groups, she was so compassionate about serving others.
That's
And
good.
Wow.
I picked up a lot. And one of the questions that I I like to summarize things. And over the years, as I got a little older and left home, I realized that what she was actually doing is not asking what was wrong. Rather than asking people what was wrong, what we had to start doing is asking people what happened to you. And that way we could help them heal. We could reach them at a better place. Not because of what you got yourself involved in or whatever the case is. What is it that brought you here?
Okay.
Well, very powerful. One little action can really change a community.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Thank you
And she
so
So
much.
tried her best to touch every angle that she could.
awesome.
In
So I want to
any
zoom. on the forgiveness aspect that you spoke about with your mom, and
Mm-hmm.
you bring together forgiveness coaching and financial strategy. I find that very, very intriguing. So,
Yes.
first off, can you tell us what forgiveness coaching is?
Yes.
And then, how do you connect the two?
Forgiveness coaching is we walk around a lot of times. I'm gonna put it in my words, rather because
Absolutely.
we walk around smiling, wearing this mask on a daily basis, whether it be to cover up from the person that you're passing on the street, on your job, in your family, and behind closed doors. And I put it from this angle because it's something I experienced. Behind closed doors is a totally different story. And what I've learned is that because individuals don't know how to forgive themselves, it's difficult to move forward. And so I had to learn to forgive me, not because of anything wrong, but because I didn't understand.
Mhm,
And so that's how forgiveness coaching came along for me, my brand, She Forgave,
mhm,
where meet individuals where they are
mhm,
and talk them through the process of, people are bitter. I don't want to forgive. I don't, this is what happened to me. Why should I forgive? Why are you holding on to it? You're depleting, you're destroying yourself internally, emotionally, mentally because you haven't learned to forgive. So, what forgiveness is, and I'm going to separate both of them and then bring it together.
mhm.
Forgiveness is clearing emotional debt, removing what really weighs you down so that it doesn't fester, so that tomorrow you have a brighter tomorrow. Whereas financial planning clears financial debt. And that way it prevents you from being weighed down by something that's going to, by something else. And it helps you prepare for tomorrow. Not about what happened yesterday, but help you prepare for tomorrow. So when you bring both together, they're both forms of protection. And the connection between both of them is freedom, because
Wow.
Oh,
forgiveness
that's
brings that
powerful.
freedom. And
Wow.
when we are clear on forgiving ourselves, we make better financial decisions. When we
Wow.
heal emotionally, when
Mm-hmm.
we're calmer, when we're clear, we are more future focused.
For sure.
We make better financial decisions when we're put in that position. But it starts with you healing you first.
Right. And the healing, I would say, sounds like the alignment analogy that we
Hmm.
talked about earlier. Healing is about alignment. How do we bring everything into alignment? And it's interesting, Alicia. Some people see emotional healing and financial planning as completely separate. You found a way to bridge them and bring that connection together. Tell us, how do unresolved family conflicts typically manifest in financial planning and the financial choices we make?
Repeat that again for me.
How do unresolved family conflicts
Hmm.
typically manifest in financial planning and the
Okay.
financial choices we make? Just give us some examples.
I just had to turn the volume up. Unresolved problems, unresolved conflicts, they don't stay emotional. When I think about it, it becomes financial because it shows up when there's a problem.
For
And so
sure.
avoiding conversation about wills and beneficiaries and so forth and overspending, and it creates a conflict when there's a need to have that conversation.
Mm.
Where sometimes we find people are overspending and overspending to compensate for some sort of guilt.
Typically, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might refuse to plan because planning requires family meetings.
Hmm.
And so once we start having these conversation, there's distrust. So we don't want to get together.
For
We don't
sure.
want to join. And there's also understanding because they fear repeating that family mistake. So you have all these little pieces being put together, and because of that, there's a conflict. we're not having the conversations, we're not meeting with each other, we're not seeing eye to eye, we don't want to talk about it. We say sweep it under the carpet. It's not going to stay under there, because at some point in time there's going to be a mount.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting. Uh, Megan, you had a question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So, in a case like that, where there's family conflict, and you're seeing, let's say, you're coaching someone, and you're seeing that this person is dealing with a lot of family conflict, hurts, resentments, unforgiveness, and there's difficulty as well with their finances. How do you get them to recognize that they need to forgive, let go, in order to be free?
When I start working with someone in terms of forgiveness, I usually start with them.
Hmm.
We're going to work on you. We're not talking about any family. We're not talking about finance. We're talking about how can you learn to forgive you. And that comes with them being accountable.
Hmm.
We
Okay.
stop pointing a finger. Let me take responsibility for the things the part that I played in it. It might not seem major, but you might be surprised that the small things that people hold on to that create conflict. And so when I speak with them and when I work with them, we before we even get to the family conflict part of it, I have to make sure you're on the healing process of your journey for forgiveness.
Hmm.
Because once you have solidified that part of it, everything else is not going to automatically fall in place, but it's like the blinders are lifted.
Hmm.
And so it's
Wow.
easier for you to have those conversations in terms of family matters.
Hmm. Wow.
Because as you
Okay.
start peeling off the layers, you
Wow.
get to the point that not that it doesn't, the situation that with the family and the finance doesn't matter anymore, but it's more manageable. I can see it from a different angle. I can even talk about it. Because
Right.
there's times when people don't even want to address it. So I
Yeah.
start off by dealing with them first. I just want to hear about you
I
and how can
like
I get
that.
you to
Yeah.
heal first. And once you heal, we're gonna get into motion.
Yeah.
And as we
Wow.
often say, you can't drink or you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you want to be a part of the realignment, the healing process, it starts with it. You
Right.
Yeah.
can't help your family. You can't be the center of
And
activity if you have unresolved issues.
right. And a lot of times the financial decisions that we make and the financial issues that they're sitting on, it looks like the finance is the problem. And that's not really where the problem is. The problem is the fear, the control, the guilt, and the need sometimes to be validated.
Mm.
So once you start validating them and let them know, this is life. Is it
Hmm.
fear? Probably not. Is it
Yeah.
necessary? Yes, it is. Because once you admit and acknowledge that it is, okay, let's start healing. Because sometimes we do need to be in certain situation in order to see the light.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's so amazing because I don't think a lot of people necessarily put the two together. They think
absolutely not.
finance is one thing,
Yep.
and then
Mm-mm,
the problems they have with their auntie, uncle, mommy, daddy, whoever is another thing. But
mm-mm.
once they solve one or deal with one, they then are able to probably now look more clearly at their finances. All
Yes.
Yep.
right, so I think now is a good time to take a little break. We do have some comments. But before we go to the comments, I just want to say, Derede, we started Likkle Byte Ideas 5 years ago. Can you imagine that?
Unbelievable. And if we tell you the story, we're not gonna
If we tell you
go
the
through it
story.
today. We're not going to go through it today because we want you to come back on September 10th, which is actually the day we started. We started 5 years ago, September 10th. And as luck would have it, I'm always looking for a connection and a marketing hook. It was National Swap Ideas Day. And the name of the show was Likkle Byte Ideas. And we were like, we have a mantra where we say, Megan, let's say our mantra. If I have an idea,
You have an idea, just
well,
ideas.
we just have ideas, but it's when we bring those ideas together that those magical eureka moments happen. So we came up with our
Absolutely.
mantra and everything, and then found out it's National Swap
Swap
Ideas
Ideas
Day.
Day.
So we know that God was giving us a nod. And here we are 5 years later.
5 years
We had our
later.
trials and tribulations. Like we said in the past year, it was just very difficult with Megan's studies for us to do this with any consistency. But what we did, we started ensuring that our newsletter changed from once a month to once a week. So we shifted.
Yes.
So you still heard from us once a week, but it was more through the newsletter as opposed to the show. But we caught, people continue to reach out to us. When is the show coming back? And here we are. So we
So
want to
I have a little tidbit. I have a little clip from our very first show that I want to share. Can I do that now?
go right ahead.
Awesome.
Likkle Byte Ideas brought to you by Samuel Fields Consulting Group. We are so delighted that you've decided to spend some time with us today. And this is our first episode, one of many. What better way to spend a Friday morning? And TGIF, we're all looking forward to the weekend. We figured this would be a great way to end the week by bouncing ideas and sharing our knowledge, sharing our sentiments, our values with some of the influential people in business that we call friends. I am Derede Whitlock, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Samuel Fields Consulting. And today we have two guests. Of course, the first guest is our CEO at Samuel Fields Consulting, Mistress Megan Samuel Fields. Megan, how are you today?
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm doing pretty great, Derede.
Fantastic. And also our very special guest, who is Mr. Kurt John Baptiste. He is with EBAS Financial and Accounting Services, and we're delighted to have Kurt in our studio today. Welcome to the SFCG virtual stage, Kurt.
That was where we started 5 years ago.
And that is what you call turn your hand and make fashion.
Make fashion.
We had an
Make
idea, and we're
fashion.
not even kidding you. We had an
Yes.
idea. I believe it was on a Monday. We had talked about it, doing something. And I believe I turned at 5 o'clock in the morning, as I often do, filled with ideas. And I called Megan. And I said, Megan, here's the situation. Let's do this show. Here is what we're going to do. And if it's one thing about my sister, once she likes the idea, she is my ride or
Let's
die.
go.
She's
Let's
like, let's
go.
go.
That's
So we had the
Let's do it.
conversation on either Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember, but by Friday,
It
we
was
had a
tough.
show.
You know what? I think it was Wednesday. I think we didn't have much time in between.
It could have been
We didn't
Wednesday.
have much time.
We're that crazy. It could have been Wednesday.
We are that crazy.
So
But-
we just put one foot in front of the other with
And
our
you know what?
idea.
and I
and
hope
now-
persons. Go ahead, Jerry. Sorry.
And now we've done 100 episodes.
Wow.
Unbelievable. 100 episodes.
Mic drop.
In terms of views on YouTube, we're close to 200,000 views on YouTube.
That's good.
Awesome.
And so, we plan and we probably have not put as much into it as we should, but the doctor is in the house. And so we are definitely going to be more structured. We want to have more impact. I just want to thank my co-host for hanging in there with me with my
Oh my
crazy
goodness!
ideas.
Listen,
And just keeping it going even when we didn't even know where we were going. But here we are.
absolutely. And one thing I want to say to everyone who's listening, I think you can use us as the example. We had a little idea,
A little idea.
and even coming up with the name, that's another story. But we had a little idea, and from it, we've had over 100 episodes. We have a newsletter, and we have interviewed so many guests, local, regional, and international. So please, whatever little idea you have, do not keep it to yourself.
And Megan, let's not hide the fact we made a little money. Not from the show directly.
Not
but
from the show, but of
Not from
course
the
we
show directly,
monetized
but
it.
from our present. We found a way to
Absolutely.
monetize it.
Absolutely.
And we're still
Which
working
is
on
what
it. So
which we would like everyone to do as well.
yeah, we just
little
did some
side
work with a
hustle.
great client yesterday,
Yeah.
completing
A good corporate
several
client.
weeks of work. Of course, we're not going to mention the client, but a very great client that we're grateful for. And we've kept our presence alive and our brand strong and our value high. So here we are. So to all of you who have a little idea, I am blessed to have a sister because it's not always easy. It's not always easy implementing these little ideas on your own. But I know if I call my sister with something that makes sense, she's going to say, "Girl, let's do it." The most we can do is fail and get up and start again. So
Right.
I
And
want to,
these are the ones that make sense. There are others that I had to pull her off the ledge. Not now, not now. Let's let's keep our feet on the ground.
yes, let's keep up with that. Well, listen, here we are and we're forging forward. And, here's to another 5 years.
So I
Yes.
want to go through the comments that we have. First one, of course, is Miriam Samuel, and she says, "Good afternoon, my three daughters." So for those of you who don't know, Alicia is number six, the
Yeah.
sixth child of Miriam Samuel. So welcome, Grandma Mary,
Oh, Chief Kindness Officer.
Chief Kindness Officer. And Doreen Edwards says, "Good to see everyone. Congratulations to Dr. Megan Samuel Fields." Thank you. All right. Fanny King says, "Good evening, ladies. Big congrats to Dr. Fields. Blessings aplenty." Thank you. Thank you. And we also have from Wonderversal, "Excited about today's topic, particularly since the focus is on financial peace and forgiveness." Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I do like the topic so, so much. Makes so much sense. And I think now would be a good time as we pivot back to our guest, for us to talk about, you spoke about forgiveness, and you do have a forgiveness journal.
I do.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, my forgiveness journal, again, everything stem off of my story. I'll one of these days I got you guys on my chit chat with the Journey Sisters.
Oh, for
Ooh,
sure. We
sounds
love
good.
that.
On a platform chit chat with the Journey Sisters, and I invite individuals to come on, and they seek me out to come on and tell about their story, what they've been through, and where they are now. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's difficult for us to verbalize what we are feeling or what we're dealing with to somebody else because we're in fear of being judged.
Mhm.
Not only just being judged, but hearing our stories because every friend have a friend, every best friend have a best friend.
Yep.
And so
Mhm.
it's likely if you don't want to hear your story over again, keep it to yourself. And
Yeah.
so that's how my journal came around. You know what? I kept everything to myself for that same purpose, the fear of being judged, the fear of being looked at. And so I thought about it. There are other individuals who deal with the same thing. And as I work with people and get in touch and do my talks about forgiveness, you'll be surprised at the individuals that come up to me and say, "You know what? This happened to me. This is what took place." And sometimes we just want to get it out, but who do we talk to? So I decided, you know what? Journal it, not just a regular journal. Let's talk about forgiveness, who we need to forgive, what we need to forgive, should we even forgive? Because you can write in your questions, write in your concerns, and go back and answer it yourself sometimes.
Mm.
And so, in
Mhm.
conjunction with having the journal, I came up with some quotes as to what forgiveness means to me and what it
Mm.
should feel like. And I collaborated with a Bible verse.
That's awesome.
I have actually two journals on forgiveness. My son has a book on the market called More Than a Tall Boy as well.
Oh,
And the reason
wonderful.
why I mentioned that my son is 6'9",
Oh, wow.
but
Wow.
his thing was if because people would see him and say, "Do you play basketball?" And his thing was, "If I don't play basketball, does that make me less than?"
Oh, wow.
And so I
Mm.
had to have him
Powerful.
understand that don't be conformed by what the box that the world put you in. And so with him too, I had to teach him the process of forgiveness because
Mhm.
it's minor, but it's major. And so the journal was a way to get what's in your head out. Let's talk about it. Let's. I'm gonna quote one of. If you give me a minute, I'll pull one from the journal, which one I really like. like I said, I put it in my own terminology as to what forgiveness really is. I don't know if I still have it up here. So, for example, I put forgiveness is like eating a sweet Julie mango. Think
Oh
about it.
wow, she's really our sister.
Like eating a sweet Julie mango, and it says it's
Oh,
refreshing and nourishing.
Oh
and
wow.
juicy. And
We
And
just
juicy.
did a
Just
training
imagine.
session yesterday, and the analogy we used was mangoes,
Was a
mango
mango.
season, mango
And
day,
mangoes
mango.
are my favorite fruit.
hmm so it
So
goes
I
on to
can
say,
identify that with that analogy.
so for example, where I said forgiveness is refreshing and nourishing, forgiveness can revitalize and nourish the soul. So
Mm,
imagine biting into a sweet Julie mango. Oh gosh, I'm
mm,
getting
mm,
goosebumps.
mm.
It
Mm.
delivers a burst of freshness and sweetness, just like forgiveness should.
Satisfaction.
It
Mhm.
is also satisfying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's flavorful and it
yeah.
symbolizes growth.
Wow.
Wow, that's deep.
So the
That
book
is.
has in quite a the journal has in quite a few analogies as to what forgiveness like. Forgiveness is like flying. Some people like to bungee jump.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like bungee jumping.
Oh wow.
It's
So,
freedom. It's peace. It's what you anticipate, what you fear. But yes, still, the minute you do it, I did this. I'm free. I want to feel this again.
so we have on the screen the voice of forgiveness. This is the
Yes,
journal, and
that's the minor one. Yeah, there's two. Yes,
okay, and then here is another,
yes.
the
This is the
voice of
one that goes more
forgiveness
in depth.
journal, right?
And you see,
And
I'm getting excited.
how can persons access these journals?
They're actually on Amazon, but I also have a PayHip site that you could go to directly. I'll share that with you so that you can
Yes.
post that as well.
Uh-huh.
But it's a PayHip site that you can go and you see my different journals,
Yeah. Okay. I think I
including my
need to get
son's.
one. This sounds really good. And I love journaling, so
Yeah, and
but I
that's
never thought
definitely a
about
great gift.
forgiveness journal.
Yes,
Yes.
as we approach the holidays, it's definitely something
Yeah.
people should consider.
You guys got
That's
me
so
Um,
true.
excited talking about forgiveness. When I think about
yeah,
it, it's just I'm actually looking. If you see me looking off, I wish you guys could see this. I'm looking at a lake,
Mm.
and there's a swan in the lake,
Wow.
and I'm looking at it, and I feel forgiveness. He's just gliding along, he or she. I don't know kind of so what it is, but it's just gliding along, and I just feel at peace, and that's what forgiveness should feel like.
Hmm. And for those of us who actually, if you can recall, actually forgiving someone, because I stopped to think about it, and it's like a release.
It is.
When you no longer, it's like a burden you're carrying. And I remember somewhere along my journey where I was told forgiveness is more for me than the
than for
person
the,
I'm
yep,
forgiving.
the
It
violator.
is.
Yep,
Yeah. And
It
that makes
is.
so much sense, especially if you
absolutely.
want to be on your journey of financial wellness and financial peace and financial growth. You can't
Mm-hmm.
come with your baggage. You can't come with
No,
the
you
baggage. So
cannot.
letting it go. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Once I had my real first taste of forgiveness, people might not believe this, but I'm an introvert. If you grew up with me, you would know. And
Mm.
once I had my first real taste of forgiveness, I've been talking since. You can't
Oh
shut me up.
wow,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's
Wow.
like
Okay.
I
amazing.
found my voice. That's
Hmm.
why I call it the voice of forgiveness. I found my
Ah.
voice that was lost, that was taken from me because it was
Hmm.
stolen from me. Not to go into much deep, but it was stolen from me.
All
And so
right.
getting that voice back and forgiving the situation just freed me, just absolutely freed me.
So, to our audience, if you have any questions for our guest, please, now is the time. Put it in the chat.
Alicia, I want to pivot a bit to the other side of your business. We really, really enjoyed hearing about forgiveness, but I also want to hear you're also a financial strategist, a financial planning architect. Tell
Yes.
us a bit about that side of what you do. I know estate planning, life insurance, end of life wishes, and these are some of the products that you're involved in.
Mm-hmm.
with the other aspect of your business. Tell us a bit about some of those offerings, which definitely, if a family is not healed, as you indicated earlier, it can impede the progress in making critical decisions related to estate planning and future planning.
So I'm gonna, I like to give the backstory.
Sure, go right ahead.
Growing up, my mother would say, anytime I get a job, I must always pay myself first.
Mm-hmm.
And so no matter who I got money from, I would pay myself first. She didn't know I used to hide the money under the bed, right? And I grew up doing that. So when I did take money to, I took it to her in a lump sum, and she would wonder where you got all this money from. But coming to the U.S., it was not a thought of mine. I ended up working in the banking, and what I noticed was people made money, but they didn't know how to make that money work for them. And I saw individuals, young and seasoned, who came into an inheritance, and because they did not have the education or the finance or they didn't have the education, in a matter of months that money was gone. And then you had people who worked their entire life, and 65, 70, when they should be retired and enjoying what's left, they're back at some department store as a greeter. And to me, there was a disconnect. What is it? Why is it that we're not financially free? We have a job, we work all our life, but your job would never make you wealthy. And so I wanted to find a way to connect to my community and teach them that these things, or the things we look at on television, or the things that we see other people doing, not that we must be envious, but we can attain that financial freedom as well. We're in banking. I'm not knocking banks because they're there for a purpose. But I wanted more, and I wanted to be able to share more. And so I started researching finance. How can I reach my people? And understanding the different terminology, the different investments. And so I put myself in a position that I can teach, combined with the forgiveness, in order to help individual grow. And so money and family, where the conflict is concerned, it's amazing that we wait until somebody dies to have these conversations, when these are conversations we're supposed to be having before there's a tragedy, before there's tears. We need to be talking, and we're afraid to have those conversations, and doing so helps set you up for that's financial success, how to create that legacy. So we need to get back to having those. I don't know if it happened before, but my mother said what she said, and we did what we did, but we're not having enough of these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And having these conversations help you put yourself in a position. We're talking about wealth, we're talking about legacy, we're talking about, if God forbid something happens to me tomorrow, what happens to what I've worked so hard for? What happens to my child who's not in a position to take care of this? And I've seen it over and over. And so I sit and have these conversations with them. Be real, be transparent. What happens? The bank takes it if it's not paid for. How can we put a plan in place to make sure that that doesn't happen to your family?
And by having those conversations, it to me, I see it as a little cycle there, a little circle, because
Mhm.
by having those conversations, it gives you the financial peace that I think we all desire.
Absolutely.
And it's an uncomfortable conversation. You'd be
It
surprised.
is. It
It's
is.
we don't like to talk about money
Yeah.
because I we to say it, I don't even, I want to say it in a way that's, we have a poverty mindset
Oh, we
sometimes.
know that. Yes,
Yeah, we do.
absolutely.
We do.
And
And
so we
that,
don't want to have that conversation. It's uncomfortable. And we can only grow in places that we're uncomfortable. When you're too
mhm,
comfortable, you don't grow. And
Hmm.
I want to see my people grow. I want
Yeah.
my family to grow.
Yeah.
I want my
That's
friends'
true.
family to grow. I want to see us get out of the state that we're in. It's been happening over and over. How do we get out of it? By talking. When was the last time somebody that you see successful decide to sit down and pour into you?
Mm-hmm.
We
Well,
gate.
that's go
Yeah.
right ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I find that this whole mindset, we've seen it. It goes back, I think, more to be a generational type of issue.
Absolutely.
Um, we don't talk about money even within our families. So we might be up to our neck in debt, but we're not talking about it because we're ashamed. We don't know how to deal with it. Um, Other times, because we haven't seen it as an example in front of us, we just continue to do what our parents have done.
Right.
So it's really time to start
And,
talking and start sharing.
and you know what? We see it because a family member transition, and we see everybody trying to pull together. We see the distrust, the disconnect, but yes, still we tomorrow we move on like if it doesn't even matter.
Because it's comfortable. Nobody wants to sit in the discomfort.
Discomfort to dissect
Yeah.
things. Yep.
Hmm.
We prefer to avoid it, and avoidance does not is not going to heal us.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, we're nearing the end of our discussion. We want to give everyone a chance to. Do we have any questions? This might be a good time to check on questions or comments from our guests.
So we have from Dr. Charles Samuel. Hi,
Hi,
Charlie.
Charlie.
He says, just got home from an appointment. Sorry to be late. Glad to be here. And then he goes on to say, the subject of forgiveness is dear to my heart.
Oh,
I was the keynote speaker for the Samuel family reunion in July 2025, and the subject I focused on was forgiveness. Wow. The topic was let family love abound, and I did not know that that was what it was.
Wow,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
that's
Thank you
amazing.
so much. Let family love abound. That's so true. Needed. And Marion Brown says, so true. I believe she's referring to having the conversations and not being afraid to speak up. Yes. So if you have any more questions or comments, you have a few more minutes to send those in. Yeah.
Well, we have as we look to wrap up, Alicia, we have a question we'd like to pose to you. Megan, do you want to pose a question?
Sure. So this is one of the things we'll be doing for each of our shows. Towards the end, we're going to ask our guest for them to give us a Likkle Byte, just something, a little bite that we can take away. So we're going to ask a question. And the question we have for you is, if someone is watching today and they want to take one little step, not a big one, a little step toward greater financial peace, what would you encourage them to do first? So what would be the first little step you would want our
the
guests to do?
the first little step is don't wait for crisis. I think we got, oh, the first little step would be don't wait for crisis. Don't wait for something to happen to have that conversation. And it doesn't even have to be a family matter. It could just be your own personal crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And you could start off by forgiving what you can, healing from what you can, and plan for what you can.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we want to bite off more than we could chew.
Yes.
And so it starts with don't wait. We have seen too many examples for us to sit and wait for something to happen before we do something. And a lot of times we don't do anything because we think we're not worthy. You are worthy. You deserve it. You deserve to be in rooms that you think you don't belong into. And if you don't get into the room, make your own table.
Hey, absolutely. Make your own table. I like it.
Or bring your own folding chair. Who was
Yes,
that? That was
bring it.
I like
Shirley
that.
Chisholm. Yep. Bring your own. If there's no seat at the table, bring your own folding chair.
Yes.
And I like
And
what you're saying. You deserve it.
yes, you do. You're worthy. A lot of times we don't do things and we sit in fear and we wobble in our situation because we think we're not worthy. We're not worthy of the help. We should know. No, you're human. Above everything else, above Alicia Alexander, the first thing is I'm human with
Yeah.
feelings.
That's
And because you're human, you make mistakes, but that's not the end of the world.
Right. And I have to learn to forgive me for what I didn't know. I didn't know. And if I keep beating up on myself for what I didn't know, I'm not going anywhere. And I want to grow.
And you know what's interesting? A lot of us sometimes blame our parents. And I always say they could only give us what they knew. You know, they could only parent within the confines of their knowledge and their experience. So if they didn't know, they couldn't impart it on us. And a lot of time we
No,
keep blaming our parents why they didn't do this and why they didn't do that. You know, you can't act on what you don't know. And I think that's a really good point.
I,
Yeah.
I can't stress enough how we need to fix us first.
Yeah.
Fix us, be accountable. Forget
Man in the
about the
mirror.
shame. The social media has taught us to be a certain way. No, it's before social media was still you. After social media, it's still gonna be you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been, we're almost at the end and we're looking to wind down. Megan, let me give you an opportunity to give your final comments.
But before I do that, let me just go back to the comments. So Dr. Charles Samuel says, I think forgiving ourselves is a critical first step. Until we can do that, we cannot forgive others.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all we have on the comment board. So I just want to say, Alicia, thank you so much for being able to explore this topic with us. When we first connected and this was the topic you're going to speak about, I was like, financial peace and forgiveness. It just seemed odd, but it makes so much sense. And the forgiveness is step one. We need to learn to forgive ourselves. And that is great. And I think your journal would be an excellent starting spot for persons. If you don't know what to do, just grab that journal and just start writing. What are the things that you're beating yourself up on, and what do you need to forgive yourself for? So I think that is a great first step. And I encourage all of us, because we all have little pockets of areas in our lives that we probably need to let go of. So I encourage us all to start with ourselves, start forgiving ourselves, which then gives us the release to move towards financial peace. There's actually one more comment I want to drop in here. And Ambassador Joan Underwood says, I once heard a sermon in which the priest said that forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, is not for the other person.
Yep.
So if you want to gift yourself something, gift yourself the gift of forgiveness.
For sure.
That's great.
Alicia, we don't want to conclude without giving you an opportunity to share your contact information. There may be folks in the audience who want to reach out to you. You have a lot to share, and you, like I said, the other side of your business, you do sell a slew of products. So please share your contact information with us.
So they can find me on Facebook as She Forgave, and my name, Alicia Alexander. And they can find me on TikTok now. I'm learning these social media platforms as
Good for
Ali
you.
Rethink, ALI Rethink. My LinkedIn name
Awesome.
as well is Alicia Alexander. And my Instagram is She Forgave.
She
So
forgave.
those are the
That's powerful.
Yes.
I'll be checking in. Awesome.
Fantastic.
And
Well,
when you
folks-
get to those platforms, you will see, you can DM me. I will reach back out to you within 24 hours.
Awesome. Awesome. This
Fantastic.
has been great.
This
Thank
was a
you.
great first episode back.
Thank you.
And again, it's all about those little ideas. And as we can see from today's discussion, little ideas can really create life-sized impact. Your mom would have been so proud to hear you just have such a great command of some of the values that she shared. So I
That
want
is
to
good.
encourage all of our guests. I want to thank you once again for joining us, and get comfortable, get curious, get ready to think big. Likkle Byte Ideas is back, and we are going to be we're going to try to be on every week, but to be on as often as we can to keep everyone, including ourselves, accountable. And we want you to continue to think big, make small steps, and let's create some magic.
Thank
So
you.
I just want to spend 30 seconds just letting you know what's coming up next for next
Okay?
week. So this week, of course, we were talking about financial peace and forgiveness. Next week, we're going to be talking about the emotional side of money. What's stealing your financial peace?
Mm,
So we're going to dig a little deeper into that to find out how do our emotions and our experiences affect our relationship with money.
Good stuff.
that's
So
awesome.
that's
Awesome.
going to be interesting. We haven't finalized our guest,
That's
but
awesome.
you will hear about that throughout the week.
And I also want to encourage you, if you're not on our mailing list, if you don't get our newsletter, you're missing out. After we leave this virtual stage, we take it to our newsletter and another platform, and we distribute it every Monday. So you start the week thinking. So if you're not getting our newsletter, please send us an email at info@samuelfieldsconsulting.com. You can also visit our website, samuelfieldsconsulting.com, and you can press the tab for newsletters. We usually go back about 2 months, so you can see what you've missed. And so again, we're delighted to be back. Let's keep these conversations going because, as you know, little ideas can spark big dreams. Thanks for
Absolutely.
joining, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you back next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a
Thank you so
great
much, Alicia. Thank
Thank
you
everyone.
so
you.
much for
Pleasure.
being with us.
This was wonderful.
Yes, great.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good evening.